This is the voice of world sports coming to you from Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. And we are now going to demonstrate yet another sport where the sports administrators prevent access to all of the far better training and development programs in the sport of tennis. Tennis is a sport in Australia where we were the tops in the world, and we've gone down dramatically. And the reason for that is, again, the administrators of sport who prevent us from allowing access instantly 24 hours a day by iPad or iPhone to those sports training and development programs that are available. The person mainly responsible for this is a person named Craig Morris of Tennis Australia in Melbourne, and he lives at Torquay on the coast. He prevented anyone from comparing the training programs in Tennis Australia today to the modernistic and futuristic evashaw sports training and development tennis programs. By doing so, he has prevented you, the athletes, the tennis players, from whatever age, from accessing these programs. Tennis Australia does not have a transitional program for 12 to 14-year-olds, another one for 14 to 16, another one for 16 to 19, and one for elite players. Tennis Australia have, they told me, 3,000 coaches who will be put out of work if they receive these self-education training programs. That is a nonsense. The coaches only have to adopt the actual e-book of instructions. The tennis training and development programs do not have a mental program. They do not have instant access 24 hours a day by an iPad or an iPhone. They do not have access in remote communities. They do not use information technology to develop a book, an e-book, whereby as soon as you get off the court, if you are having a problem, you simply go to your iPad, click on to your training and development program by putting in your password and username, and you have instant access. If you are having a problem serving the ball, you take out your iPad, you click on it, access your program, and you have it. All of the information that you require. If you're playing in windy conditions, or if the roof's enclosed, or if the court is damp, or if the balls are heavy, you simply take out your iPad and the answers are all there for you. If you are lacking concentration, discipline or control, you take out your iPad and look it up. It's all there instantly. If you are in the most remotest community in Australia, they still have internet access in these remote communities. So Kalumburu is a small town of 350 Indigenous people. They have no economy, they can't make anything to sell, they can't exchange goods, they just live in that community. But they have iPads. The encouragement to get the kids to school there is you come to school and we'll allow you internet access to your sport, whether it's tennis or AFL or football or whatever it may be. That is the encouragement. But Tennis Australia can't do that. Tennis Australia came under investigation on the 1st of March 2010 in a Four Corners program called The State of Play. You should revisit that and get a lot of information about Tennis Australia. Craig Morris was the person in control of training and development, and he has flatly and emphatically refused to compare the training and development programs. When I said to him, all I want you to do is to compare the programs, He refused. So I wrote to the CEOs of every state in Australia. Tennis, in Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, Australian Capital Territory, Northern Territory, Tasmania, Western Australia. I didn't get a reply. In all, I wrote 5, and I know 2 of these CEOs, and one rang me and said, look, give up. We've got instructions from Craig Morris not to answer any correspondence from you. Then I received a solicitor's letter from Mark Howard, the lawyer for Tennis Australia. I was threatened that I would be charged with defamation, libel, just for contacting these people. If I stepped onto a tennis court owned or operated by anyone with Tennis Australia, I would be arrested and charged. I was advised that I was making the workplace of Tennis Australia an unsafe workplace in disregard of the World Health and Safety Act. To give you some idea of the actions of Tennis Australia, they were going to charge me with stalking under the Stalking Act 2003. I'm 83 years of age. I live in a retirement village. I care full-time for my wife of 61 years, and I am a threat to every person employed by Tennis Australia, and I'm stalking them. You work it out. This man, Craig Morris, works at Tennis Australia in Melbourne and lives at Torquay. And he has prevented every single tennis player in Australia from having access to these futuristic training programs. When you try and tell Craig Morris that each and every one of you can access the best training program that exists in the world instantly from their iPad or their iPhone, he just refuses to respond. We have 95% of the hundreds of thousands of tennis players in Australia who need this. It is the only program where you have a transitional training program. So kids from 12 to 14 have a transitional program for that state of play. When they improve, they have a certain program for 14 to 16 and one from 16 to 18 and one up to elite level. No program in Tennis Australia has that. They advised me that 3,000 coaches depended on Tennis Australia for a living, that Tennis Australia spent $26 million on training and development, and we're getting nowhere. We have all of the dramas associated with the players, even at the very top level, and that's going on. We are losing out in Davis Cup and lower grade Hopman Cups and all of the rest of them because the training and development has not kept up with what's available in the world today. And the person who has caused that is just one person, Craig Morris. He has to be removed, and you all have to have the availability of that sports training and program. It is up to you now, as a player of tennis, to Twitter and to put on Facebook to every player that you know to contact this site, to view what is available. You then become the voice of world sports for tennis in your country. We must remove these people who continually block our athletes from a far better sports training and development program. Thank you.